because Return of the Jedi was not liked very much when it first came out. And maybe it will round into form. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe me being removed from all of the knowledge of the production, it was sort of a fraught production from the jump with this.
Right.
Maybe I'll be able to divorce myself more from that. So again, this is my initial reaction to it. I know there's lots, like I said, there's lots of things that I liked. There's some things that I feel like will age better with me, and there's some things that I'm really trying to talk myself into, and then there's just some things that I just hate.
Right.
And it's not going to make any sense, but I'm willing to let them go if I can talk myself into these other things.
Yeah, so it definitely sounds like a mixed bag.
And so in the end, like I said, it is enjoyable. I don't know though if I'm entertained because of the amount of effort it takes, and I would say it's enjoyable to me like when I give in to my lesser urges and just go to Taco Bell and just stuff my face. It's like while I'm shoving those burritos into my mouth, I'm really enjoying it. But afterwards, I have immediate remorse. I'm almost disappointed in myself. Of like, why did you do that? Why did you give in to those base urges?
You can't discount cast chemistry, though, and those people, if they work well together, that's dynamite.
And that's where, and this feeling of like, is this the end? It's not the end. I would love to see. I honestly would love to see, supposedly, there are scheduled to be another trilogy starting 2 years from now. Now, there's been a lot of shakeup within Lucasfilm, and Kathleen Kennedy has said they're kind of on hiatus. The interstitial Star Wars tangential stories, like Solo and Rogue One, those have been put on hold, indefinitely. The big talk was that Rian Johnson was going to do his own trilogy that would... I don't know if it was what is happening with that. I would love that. I'm ready to take a break, honestly, from Star Wars and let it sit for a while. Maybe just from the movies, but I would say just don't worry about release dates. Bring in someone who you trust, and I would say you almost have to really give them the reins. And there is, in the end, Star Wars is sort of an auteurist property, and I believe you have to give it to someone. I don't know. There's even talk I've heard of Kevin Feige, who's behind all of the Marvel movies, and maybe that model would be better. Maybe we need a bunch of weird little movies that then slowly, over the course of 10 years and 20 movies, brings us to an end game, literally, quote unquote, I'm happy to explore this world, but I'm also feel like I'm done with this story.
Yeah.
I would love to see something that still has this primary cast of Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, and Oscar Isaac go on to do something else, because I really like these characters, just like I like the original trio, but give me a story. Really focus.
You gotta have some meat.
Don't take it out of the oven until it's all the way done, I would say. So I'm exhausted, emotionally, physically, from this. I got all worked up. I'm sweating.
No, that's good.
But this is...
I think it's great. Movies, good or bad, that's what... Right? And especially when you really have enjoyed something in the past, you have greater expectations.
Right.
You want more from it.
Right.
You want it to keep growing.
Right, and that's the thing. I want to see the Star Wars world continue to grow, and I'll say The Mandalorian, which is the standalone series on Disney Plus, has been great. But I don't know. I still like this core thing, and I want to kind of still stay connected to that, but I want it to be of a certain quality, and I just want world-building ideas like this need to make sense.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot that doesn't make sense, doesn't quite and I don't want to be like, coming in like Neil deGrasse Tyson, being like, woo, woo, woo. Like, again, that's where you do want to be like, it's a kid's story, it's a fantasy story. But again, audiences deserve, and kids specifically, again, I think deserve a story that is going to grow with them.
That has levels.
That it's not, you get to 12 and then you're done with the story. That's as far as you go with it. And I don't know how this movie, specifically this movie, is going to be
a jumping point.
How does it grow from there?
Okay. Well, very good. And so I will talk much less passionately about two films that I saw. But one's sort of connected because Rian Johnson did Knives Out. And I'll start with that since we just mentioned his name again. I don't generally like movies that the populace loves. I'm just not that. I don't know. I don't usually like what everyone else loves for whatever reason.
Right.
I mean, Marriage Story's different, right? That's in a different category.
Yeah, no, but I understand.
But just like fluffy,
right?
All right, murder mystery. And
last
year I didn't see Orient Express. I was glad that got panned.
Yeah.
So I was suspect of this, but then I kept hearing, he's done so much new, novel things with the murder
But that's
mystery.
what Rian Johnson does is he jumps off from these tropes.
So yeah, I went into it excited. I didn't walk in jaded, but I left jaded.
With Knives Out, really?
Yeah, because it just lasted too long. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes, and my mind checked out at probably 1:50 when he keeps throwing in new. Oh, but wait, there's this. And it's like, wait, there was nothing in the whole, you know what I mean? It was like, surprise, 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 surprise. It's like, come on. Like, I've been watching this for an hour and 50 minutes. Unless you show me some foreshadowing where you were inventive, you're just a ghost in the machine trying to, rev up something at the end.
So do you feel like it's a bunch of, odd, sort of Deus Ex Machina sort of things happening?
Exactly. So, but that's my opinion.
That's one of my major problems with this latest Star Wars is there's a lot of Deus Ex Machina, which I think is the laziest storytelling device.
But, I mean, it had a great promise. Like, I was in. Like, up until...
And the cast looks fantastic.
The cast was great.
You've got
Christopher Plummer.
Christopher Plummer, who, I mean...
He's amazing.
Who doesn't love Colonel Von Trapp?
He's amazing to watch.
He's so captivating.
I can't...
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes. Daniel Craig. Toni Collette.
Right. Chris Evans is in it.
Don Johnson.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And then this new...
Don Johnson, I forgot, who's having a moment, by the way. So if you want to talk about seeing some sort of beloved sort of sacred cows, sacred text being done well, which Don Johnson is oddly in, like akin to Star Wars. Sorry, I keep bringing it back to Star Wars, but Watchmen, which is a great... Oh,
yeah, my son loves that.
The series was incredible, but that thing of they took something beloved, a sacred cow, and did their spin on it, and
Don Johnson can act. He's
a great actor. He really is, and he's great in that as well.
He's truly good. And in this, he doesn't get to do too much, but he's still good.
Can I ask a quick question about Daniel Craig? My sister had a big problem with his accent.
Okay, it was a little bit too...
Which I don't think he ever does a good southern
accent.
No,
he's British.
He's super British, and it reminds me in Lucky Logan.
Yes.
He tried to do the same thing. Now, oddly...
I like that movie, though.
That movie was great.
And I thought he was hysterical.
And his accent, though, is... But you just kind of overlook it.
You go with it.
Oddly, my sister with this movie, with Knives Out, she kept saying, she's like, I couldn't get past Daniel Craig's accent. And I thought she was just saying, because it's clearly a British guy doing a Southern American accent. And she goes, they mentioned he was from Kentucky, and I thought his accent was more from Texas. And I was just like, who the hell knows the difference?
Yeah, I don't know my Southern dialect.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm like... We're from Illinois and Florida. What do you know about these gradations?
I know they were trying to give him sort of a mystique from the South. And I get it. I get why he can't talk.
It's sort of the classic. Again, the trope of the. I feel like there's that the Southern. I may just be a simple country town lawyer,
but
or I'm
really
just
smart.
a simple. I come from a small town. I may be a private detective, but then from still waters run deep sort of idea. But
but there was a girl that a lot of people are talking about, woman, Ana de Armas, who was in the movie too, had a major role in the movie Knives Out, and can cry at the drop of a hat.
She's
evidently.
Is she the sort of like the housekeeper?
The maid.
The
yeah.
maid.
Well,
the
no,
maid,
she's like the medical
worker. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I've heard everyone has said she's sort of the breakout performance.
She is beautiful. She looks like a young Sophia Loren in my. I mean, and she can act, but yet. This isn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, all she had to do is tear up. I mean, but she's going to be something, I think.
Right.
Because you can see a presence there.
Right.
Where some of, just the writing was so...
You don't think the material gave her enough
no. She's going to be good.
Room to flex.
Down the road.
Okay.
So anyway, I rarely don't finish a movie, but I looked at my friend and I go, I am done. I can't even, I don't want to hear one more thing. I don't.
Wow.
It was just
Which is funny because this is a movie that's in a lot of critics' top 10. And I know a couple of critics who, like big time critics who have put it in their top 5, top 3.
That's insane.
So
I will say that. For this year, that's insane. But I gave it a shot anyway. And then I also saw Bombshell, and that's directed by Jay Roach.
Who, he's done other movies like this too. He famously sort of did Recount, the HBO movie. Yeah. He also did Game Change as well.
Yes.
But and oddly, he also did the Austin Powers movies.
Right, he did.
And I think he's a good, talented director, and
I think so too. This was too many characters, though. You talked about too much plot.
Right.
Way too many characters for me to really. The genuine moments that were there, which were beautiful, between Margot Robbie's character and Kate McKinnon actually plays a fellow reporter at Fox.
Oh.
Those were some really beautiful moments, and Margot Robbie's performance, I think, was far better than Nicole Kidman or Charlize.
I have a quick question for you about that. So the Margot Robbie character, I know, is a composite character of
several women,
several dozens of women, probably.
Right.
I've heard a criticism dealing with the idea of that they're taking real world events, real people, and there's a lot of literally superimposing Charlize Theron into things where Megyn Kelly was there, and she's saying the word.
Exactly. Same with Roger Ailes.
Exactly. Right. But so then you have this incredible,
realism.
Super verisimilitude.
Right.
And then there is this completely, utterly fictional character. Do you feel like that it works? How do you feel ethically, I guess?
I think that probably is why they did it that way.
Because I mean,
probably one person said, "You're not going to use me, but you could use me as part of." You know what I'm saying?
I
understand that.
Or in order to avoid
being
having,
sued.
well, that, or just to then have this in the movie to have this montage of and it's. Of women after woman after woman after woman after woman being subjected to this behavior.
It was just too busy of a movie for me to be able to feel, and I wanted to. And there were moments, but almost like your Star Wars thing, it was too much story. You've got too many people. You've got name cards with all the people. I don't need to know.
Right.
I just want to zero in the people that mattered. You know what I mean? Or who do you want to matter?
Right.
And I did walk out, though. A good movie for me is when you walk out with a different feeling. For instance, when I saw Ford versus Ferrari, I literally wanted to go rev up a car, okay? And I felt that way with this movie. I felt more of a strong, I'm a woman and I deserve to be treated right.
Right.
So that was good. That shows that there was something there.
There is.
And I felt like there were moments that were beautiful. Like Kate McKinnon's character, even though she was a minor role, she really stood out too in my mind.
I see a lot coming from her. I think she's
too.
very talented.
She's been untapped because she's been in some schlocky things where she's so talented.
She is super talented, and I think there's a real sort of almost like a Jim Carrey and even a Will Ferrell thing. Where,
or even Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler is another great parallel with that of that talent translates into the talent is talent. It's just that she's been channeling it in comedic ways, but I wouldn't be surprised to see her
she could do something.
Really slay in a dramatic role
me too.
At some point.
And piggyback on something you said about the realism versus fake stuff.
Right.
or made up things. Okay, a couple times in the movie you're going along and then like, here's Geraldo Rivera. Not the real one, but a guy that looks almost like him.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be him. And it's almost like a little joke, like here comes somebody walking and Giuliani.
Well, that's what I heard, the Giuliani, where they get Richard Kind to come in and do...
And it just throws you out of the movie.